definitely, coming off of last week's game, and just to be able to get back out there this week and to focus on us just getting better each day has been the big emphasis. We know we've got an incredible opponent, opportunity ahead of us this week, and our guys will be prepared. They'll be ready. But there's not many weaknesses when you look at Alabama and their entire team, top to bottom, from special teams, offense and defense. Obviously, very well sound. The reason why they're ranked number one in the country. I mean, there's not many deficiencies, and so. But our guys are going to continue to get better, and we look forward to this opportunity Saturday.
First question is from Steve Moulton of WZZN.
You got me all right, Coach?
I do. Yeah, gotcha.
With as many freshmen that you see on the defensive side of the football for Alabama, tell me what you've seen out of that Alabama defense. I know at times they've been playing 5 freshmen on that defense, Coach.
Well, as you watch Alabama this year and years have passed, I mean, they're obviously very sound, extremely athletic. I think the freshmen that are in there playing, the Christian Harris, the Shane Lee, I mean, these guys are dynamic players, definitely difference makers. DJ Dale is another one that just really stands out. And, when you put that many freshmen on the field and you still play at a very high level, I mean, these guys are, again, as I said earlier in my opening, it's hard to find any deficiencies when you look at it. And then you tie in an experienced back end, the secondary, that's as good as there are in college football. It definitely makes them very, very sound.
Tell me about the growth of your offensive line this year, Coach, and what you need to see out of them on Saturday.
Well, we've got to protect our quarterback better than we did last week. It felt like that he got hit entirely too much, and got pressure on him when they were just rushing forward. So, I've seen our offensive line has gotten better. We got some guys up front that are continuing to grow. We're having to grow them up early, and Ricky Stromberg being one of those guys. But he hung in there and played every snap last week. But we've just got to continue to get better, and we've got to create and first downs and just opportunities to move the football. And it's a great challenge this week against a very sound defense of Alabama.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question is from David Pascal of the Chattanooga Times Free Press.
Hey, Chad, wanted to ask about Terrell Lewis, number 24, their outside linebacker. Obviously, he was out for last year, so he didn't play in last year's game. What you've seen of him and the difference he's been making recently?
Well, what they've done is, they put him in different positions. Obviously, be able to bring him off the edge in a rush situation, which he's, being 6'5", 260, he's very long. Is athletic as he comes around the edge, and then you'll see him drop into pass coverage as well, and so very versatile. I think that I know he's battled injuries, but when he's out there and he's going, he's definitely a guy that you have to account for.
And I know every year brings about new challenges when you face the same teams, but what were you able to do last year to put some points on Alabama?
Well, I thought we did a great job of mixing up our run pass and tying in some screens to take advantage of some of their how hard they pursue and rush. So I think that was, especially early in the game, we had an opportunity that we got out inside the 2-yard line and fumbled, or it would have been a 21-14 game. But you just can't make mistakes against a caliber of opponent like this. But I thought last year we did a good job of mixing that up. We got the ball out on the edge. And so that was part of our plan a year ago.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Chad. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Bob.
Hey, just wondering, we saw Ben out there doing some stuff yesterday. Just wondering how's he feeling? How's he doing in his recovery? And have you made a decision on if you're going to start Ben again or who you're going to start at quarterback?
Yeah, no, I haven't made that decision. Ben was out there practice yesterday and trying to work through just some of the soreness and that he has, and so I thought he did. He definitely made it through practice and did some good things, and so we'll continue to get back out there today and see where he's at.
And saw Colton doing some things. How's he feeling, and do you feel good about him being able to come back and start?
Yeah, no, you know what? He got out there yesterday and went through practice and was unable to complete practice, and so we'll reevaluate things today.
Sorry to hear that. Thanks.
Next question is from Alex Byington of the Montgomery Advertiser.
Hey, Chad, you were talking about the defense, Alabama's defense, but in watching film, have you seen them be a little bit more opportunistic, maybe especially with the turnovers for the last several weeks? It just seems like they've been coming in bunches the last few games.
You talking about them creating the turnovers?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think as you would expect, obviously early in the year they had injuries which forced a lot of freshmen on the field, and those freshmen are continue to grow each week and get better, and I think you're just seeing them get better and better every week defensively. And again, there's not many deficiencies when you look at that side of the ball or even offensive side of the ball, and it's and then they got the depth that comes in with it. So we've got a great challenge ahead of us, and we've got to do a great job of hanging on to the football and not giving them any more help than what they need.
And obviously, with Tua out, Mac Jones, the backup, is going to get the start. He hasn't had too many opportunities this year for extended, game time. How difficult does that make kind of preparation and film study to kind of understand maybe the type of player he is, or can you at this point?
Well, I mean, I think he's gotten to play in 6 of the last 7 games, so you look at some of that. But if you're a quarterback at Alabama, you're definitely a really, really good football player, and Mac is no different. I mean, we've got our work cut out for us. He's got a great supporting cast around him, we've got to do a really good job of taking great angles, and when they do get the ball in space, we got to rally and get them down.
Thanks.
Next question is from Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Yeah, hey Chad, as far as your quarterback situation, it looked like John Stephen Jones was working with the ones a little bit right when we were leaving practice yesterday. How's he coming along, and could there be some sets with him or KJ coming up soon?
Well, I mean, again, that's part of practice, and we've got different periods of practice, and we work different things, and we'll continue to bring those guys along and see how the development goes, and the opportunity presents itself, and you move forward. But that's been something we've done, for the most part, I guess probably the last 2 or 3 weeks for sure, just trying to bring these guys along and get them some reps.
All right. Derek Mason was on this call earlier, and he said after their loss to UNLV that one of the most important things he felt he did was try to keep the narrative that's out on social media and stuff like that from dictating, dictating the storyline of their team. And I'm wondering, have you taken the same type of philosophy with your squad?
Well, Tom, we've talked about this for the last several weeks with our football team, and it's just about us locking arms and blocking out the noise and staying focused on our task and just getting better every day. And so we've been talking about this for quite some time, and you gotta stay within your inner circle and just keep your head down and keep working.
Thank you.
That's all the time for today, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's obviously a big game for us. It's an SEC game. It's a home game. It's homecoming. We have a lot of respect for Arkansas. They've got some really good players. They move the ball effectively against everybody. They're playing better on defense this year. So, I think the key to the drill is, everybody on our team needs to do a little more to be the best player that they can be and play with a little more consistency. And, that's what we're striving for every day in practice. And, you want to try to be perfect, knowing that you can't be perfect, but somewhere along the line you cross over to be excellent. So I'm sure I'm going to get asked about Tua, but we don't really have any update after 2 days. Nothing new. He'll be non-weight bearing for 4 days, and then after that he starts rehab, and he'll be day to day.
First question is from Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Yeah, hey Nick, I wonder what do you see from the Arkansas offense in terms of personnel and scheme in light of the fact they had some production on you guys here last year?
Well, we have a lot of respect for them. We think their quarterbacks both play pretty well. They've got a really good runner. I think the tight end is an outstanding player. They got a couple of receivers who are ascending and becoming much more productive for them. They have a great scheme on offense in terms of the things that they do. It's very difficult to defend. A lot of multiples that you have to sort of try to defend. So, we struggled last year, and hopefully we need to do better in this game.
And you mentioned their defense had improved. What have you seen from what John Chavis is doing with his bunch?
Well, I think that they're, playing really sound, solid football. They've got a couple inside players up front that are very aggressive, and, they run really well on defense. And, I think they're, playing, a lot more coverage type stuff that makes it a little bit more difficult for you to predict what they're going to do. And I think they've gotten better.
Next question is from Alex Byington of the Montgomery Advertiser.
Hey, Nick. I'm curious. A lot of teammates this week talked about Mac's confidence. How have you seen that kind of come out in practice this week now that, he's got his opportunity Saturday?
It's been good. It's been really good. His disposition has been good. And he's executed really well. And, we just hopefully we'll keep, improving through the course of the week as we get more repetitions. And I think everybody's, got to focus on finishing and doing their job. And Mac's got to do his job, and everybody else got to do their job, and that'll be the best way for us to be able to execute.
And I wanted to ask you, obviously turnovers have been a big thing this year for the defense. Has there been a more emphasis on being more opportunistic, maybe attacking the ball a lot more in recent weeks than maybe earlier in the season?
No, we've been the same thing, all the way around. I think it's just, player awareness of being able to take shots when they get shots. I think when you look at it, you got certain players that attack the ball and are confident in being able to do it, know when to do it, and you got other guys that are a little more cautious about it, and just got to keep on working on it so they get more comfortable, with it.
Thanks, Nick.
Next question is from Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Bob.
Hey, I know you guys have a lot of impressive winning streaks, but reading through your game notes, I guess you've won 88 straight games against unranked teams. I think everybody since 2008. I know, you're favored to win those games, but what's the key to that kind of consistency to never letting somebody, sneak up on you or slip up in a game like that?
Well, I think that, every player should play to his standard of excellence in what he tries to do, and, always respect your opponent for what they can do. And I think when you play in the SEC, everybody you play can bite you if you're not careful. And but you're really trying to play to your standard and have the proper respect and preparation for the team that you're playing, and know that it's important to play to a high standard all the time, and that's really what we try to get our guys to do, and try to play one game at a time and be totally focused on that opponent when we play them, and see if we can go out there and execute and have the right energy and intensity when the game comes.
Thanks.
Next question is from Chuck Culpepper of the Washington Post.
Hi, Coach. I want through the years in your program, you've changed things up sometimes, and you've welcomed a lot of fresh voices, including coaches' voices, including young coaches' voices sometimes. And I wonder if you think there's a humility in that, and if you think that humility in general in the game is more crucial than it used to be.
Well, I think, humility is a really important part of continuing to grow and be successful. There's he who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. I think that's probably a pretty good way to live. I don't think you've ever really arrived. I think there's always room for improvement. And I think if you have that humility, you can avoid complacency, which, can kind of set a tone for not having the proper respect for doing things the right way. So we're always trying to emphasize that with every player that we have on our team so that they can create value for themselves.
Thank you.
Final question is from John Zener of the Associated Press.
Yeah, Coach, you guys always talk about next man up, and seem to have done really well at adopting that philosophy and maintaining it. I'm wondering, is that harder sometimes than others? Do you maybe worry more about team psyche when you lose a guy like Tua, or do you like what you've seen, how they responded?
Well, we have confidence in the players that we have, and every player has a skill set, and hopefully we don't ask players to do what they're not capable of doing so that they have the best chance to be successful. And I think it's important for the leadership on your team to rally around and support, any new player that you have that is put in a situation that he's been a backup player, and now he has to, be the starter. And the guy that's becoming the starter has to take the bull by the horns and, be the commander-in-chief as well. So I think it's a combination of the team having the right disposition and the player having the right disposition.